first time to my channel. I'm Agent Mischief, and today we're going to be playing a game that just came out a couple weeks ago, Lovingly Evil, the Big Bad Dating Sim. So I had initially wanted to come into this Let's Play just without having, played around with it first myself, but that didn't quite go how I wanted it to, because I had some technical difficulties the last time I played. So I'll be going into this, playing it for the second time. So we are going to be dating one of these 5 lovely love interests. We got us Felix the vampire, Nova the AI, Satan, your clone, and Lady Misard, the evil stepmother. Alright, so today we are, going to, I think, romance? Sorry. Our good friend Felix here, I think. We'll see.
Welcome to the Villain Conference.
You're a first-time visitor. How exciting. Most of our guests are regulars.
Feel free to ask me anything.
I've been a volunteer at this event since I had flesh. Good old days. Feel free to ask me anything. Excuse me for the interruption, but I believe I was given the wrong badge.
Just a moment.
Just a moment, man. I'm currently serving another customer. Preposterous. I'll have you know that I am a VIP member. Haven't you heard of the Misard family? Skeleton turns to address you, looking distressed.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, but I need to help Lady Misard. Can you go get your picture taken while I'm busy? You'll need it for your badge. You nod and make your way towards the nearby photographing station. Okay, so last time I did this, I recreated my Dungeons and Dragons character, Kukarna Wave Rider. So I think we're probably gonna do that again, because I think she turned out pretty cute last time. She doesn't have a scar, but I think she would look extra badass with one. So let's give her one. Oh yeah. So she is a half-orc wizard. I don't think I mentioned that. It is like my favorite character I've played. My current character is pretty cool too, but she's a paladin. But I don't know if she's perhaps as fun to play, but she's pretty OP, I feel like. I've gotten used to playing as her a bit more. Let's see, thickest eyebrows. There we are. I didn't select a pet, did I? Not that she has a bad butt.
Looking good.
Looking good. Sorry for the interruption earlier. The Misards are a very powerful family. Next we'll need some background information. Please fill out this form. Now don't look at me like that. Form's gonna be fun if you have the right mindset. Here, I'll help you. Fill in your name, please. So, it won't let me put in her full name, so we'll just put her first name, which is Kukarna. Let's see, and I I really appreciate that they let you pick your pronouns and that they let you choose they, them. But my character,
Next
her.
question.
This rat shit. She's probably be about 20 now. Maybe a little older. We'll just say 20. Let's see. Technically, none of these work for her, but Necromancer is
And
closest to
next.
Wizard. Did the troop survive? I'd love to have a chat with some of them.
And
Next question. Do you have any special diet requirements? I'll just say no. An easy to please customer, eh?
Next
question. Only a couple left. What inspires your evil deeds? So I am an orc. That's not gonna work for me. Chaos. You must have a good time being a villain. Next, we have some terms you need to agree to. I hereby assure I'm evil and vow to cause inconvenience and suffering upon those that are good. Yes. One last term before we're done. By attending the villain conference, you agree to subscribe to the very evil villain newsletter. And that's it. Here's your brand new
I
badge.
hope you enjoy your time at the villain conference.
One more thing, if you see star icon, it means that choice is important or will unlock new conversation topics. If you see the clock icon, you know that choice will make time move forward. So if there is no clock icon, you don't need to worry about anything. Networking is key, so I advise you to mingle with the other attendees. Remember to check your phone once in a while for helpful tips about the conference. You can't check your phone when you're having a conversation with someone, though. That'd be rude.
Take a look at your conference brochure.
To navigate the conference area, take a look at your conference brochure. You wander around the conference center until an unexpected scent catches your attention. Someone must be wearing really aggressive floral cologne. You were surrounded by true villains, after all. And is there a deed more evil than spraying yourself with strong perfume when going to a public place? Of course not. Before you manage to invent an intricate punishment system for such occasions, you notice a flower stand in front of you. It seems to be empty, but when you step closer, you notice a slight rustling behind the red tulips. To your surprise, it is not an adorable old flower shop lady that finally emerges from behind the perky leaves. A wave of luscious hair swings in front of your eyes, revealing a handsome, delicate face. Hi! You glance at their badge but can't read the name. It's stained with a red blob. Probably ketchup.
Felix Von Gloomheart.
Felix.
Delighted to make your acquaintance.
Felix Von Gloomheart, delighted to make your acquaintance. And you are? My name is Kukarna. I'm a necromancer. You said your name was Von Gloomheart?
Indeed.
You just said it. What did your ancestors do to earn such a gloomy name? Oh nay, it is not a family name. They were quite cheerful as far as I can remember. I picked the name myself. Pretty dramatic choice now that I think of it. But it is not that easy to get rid of one's name after a while. I believe I had chosen it around the 12th century. Must have been my Gothic phase. Yeah, I had a Gothic phase too. I could probably still sing along to the entire discography of the Sisters of Mercy. I was referencing the Gothic phase in architecture. You know, stained glass, floor plans shaped like a cross. Oh, I should have paid more attention in history class. I'm sorry I didn't get your joke. It's pretty funny, in retrospect. And it's okay. I find jesting a truly fascinating craft, and a bit troublesome too. 2,000 years, and I still fail to understand most jokes myself. Reluctantly and with difficulty, somehow you manage to look away from Felix's hypnotizing eyes. You notice all the different kinds of flowers tucked neatly into rows of buckets behind his back. Freyas, sunflowers, tulips. Flourishing, but there's one that seems to be thriving exceptionally well under Felix's graceful hands. He notices your look and touches the black petals tenderly with just the tips of his fingers. Black roses. They smell like the cemetery. They are considered to be the flowers of death, which is precisely the reason why I cherish them so dearly. Sure. Are you the villain conference florist? could say so. That doesn't sound like a very evil job. Are you sure you're in the right place?
Oh dear.
Behold your judgment. I do not just sell your ordinary, cheerful sunflowers here. I compose bouquets that carry a message of your choice. And believe me, some message requests get very evil. Does every flower have its own meaning?
Indeed.
Indeed, sometimes even more than one. Although the real magic begins when you combine a number of flowers, creating completely unique meaning with the whole bouquet. For instance, let's take my beloved black roses. His slender hand reaches for the flower and briskly pulls it out of the vase. All you notice is the link of a gold signet ring adorning his long finger. You said they remind you of cemeteries, and indeed, they are primarily used as gravesite decoration. You must have asked yourself this question many times. Can I only offer chrysanthemums to someone who's already dead? I've literally never asked myself. I bet you're wondering whether death is the only meaning they can convey. Not really. Well, worry not, the answer is here. If you combine a black rose with another flower, say the one that symbolizes faithfulness, add a forget-me-not or two. Does it mean you want to end the relationship? The opposite. It means you don't want your loved one to forget you even after you die. But of course, you could also send breakup bouquets, death threats as well, if mailing dead animals to your enemies gets too inconvenient. So if someone gets under my skin and I want to warn them in a very flowery way, I should hit you up?
Precisely.
You let yourself fantasize about all the creatures you'd want to gift an evil bouquet to. One may also order bouquets of a slightly less evil manner, confessions of undying love, apologies for snitching on a past partner of crime, congratulations on spawning an evil offspring. No offense, but I can't imagine you're able to communicate all of that with just a bunch of flowers slapped together. I'm not surprised by your skepticism, Kokara. Allow me to prove you wrong and illustrate it with an example. Shall we begin the list of orders I have received today? Okay, so let us do this. I really had fun with this last time. The only game I probably wouldn't recommend, actually, I didn't get to play the Evil Stepmother one, is probably, not counting that, probably though,
And the next bouquet.
the flipping grill game is terrible. Faithfulness or deviousness? I'm feeling faithfulness. And I like the look of these. The orangeness goes well together, I think.
Very good.
Even though this bouquet is not perfect, it fits the request very well. Good work. Great work.
And the next bouquet.
Worst enemy. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Very good.
Even though this bouquet is not perfect, it fits request very well. Great work. I think I nailed it last time, and I don't fucking remember what I picked. I probably should have picked toxic.
And the next bouquet.
Love confession. Too strong. Let's see. It's an Apita, I think.
Very good.
Even though this bouquet is not perfect, it fits the request very well. Great work.
And the next bouquet.
Okay, eternal loyalty for fucking up. Let's see, we'll add a deviousness in there though, I think. Because it's about them doing a big mischief together. Actually, let's maybe...
Good work.
You mostly had the right idea, but there are some flowers that didn't quite fit the request. In any case, good work. Thank you for your help, Kakarna. Hopefully this helped you see the endless possibilities of flower language. I've never been to a villain conference here before.
Oh.
Oh, is that so? Are you a junior villain then? Not really. I've dabbled in villainy for a while now, mostly as a hobby. It's only recently that I've turned it into a career path. Oh yes, you never know what the true evil overlords always say. Choose a job you love, and you'll never have to work a day in your life. I'm guessing you're not a beginner villain then. Huh, do I look like a junior to you? You sound slightly offended. Oops. Your face might appear young, but the look in your eyes makes you seem very experienced. You can't help but wonder what other things Felix might have experienced in. Wink, wink, eyebrow waggle.
Indeed.
Indeed, I am happy you noticed. Which talk should I go to? Any recommendations? Soundtracks for your proudest moments. At least I will not miss that one. Talk's not as important as talking, though. I'm one of my closest friends at this very conference. Oh yeah? I need some more villain friends. Who's your BFF then?
Huh?
Beef, excuse me, is it lunchtime already? BFF, I mean, your best friend. Who are they? Oh, I believe she goes by Evil Stepmom in the professional circles. Perhaps you have had the pleasure. Not yet. I might get a bit starstruck when I see her. I've been reading about her since childhood. She appears in all my favorite children's stories. What an inspiration. She is splendid. We did our fair share of scheming together. Felix lets out a wistful sigh and stares into the distance. In the good old days. Seems like you've known each other for a while. Indeed. We both received our official villain training around the same time. Took our first evil steps together, doing a freelance job for a family fraud scheme. She even asked me to be the witness at her royal wedding. In retrospect, the chrysanthemum I put in my wedding bouquet was not the greatest choice, given her dear husband died shortly afterwards. I've heard about that. Poor thing. Alas, I believe she found ways to deal with the heartbreak, even if they are quite radical. For the longest time, I was convinced she despised my ex-companion out of sheer bitterness and envy of our love, but I now realize she might have had some good reasons. Hang on, I'm going to save real quick. Your ex? Oh yes, but that is a whole other topic. You said you weren't that into jokes, but I think I know one you might like. I certainly hope you were prepared for a disappointment. I believe the last time I laughed at a joke was when Bram Stoker was still a bawling child. Not that I would have any affiliations with Bram Stoker. Oh, bloody hell. Begin with the joke, please. Knock, knock.
Huh?
What unkind soul has decided to pay me a visit without a prior notification? You're supposed to say who's there. Ah, forgive me. Try again, will you? Knock, knock. Who is there? Vampire.
Huh?
Vampire? Why, I haven't heard that name in centuries. You're just to ask vampire who. I told you. Shall we try again? Knock, knock. Who is there? Vampire. Vampire who? Vampire State Building. Just the disgust on his face. You hear someone laughing, but it's definitely not Felix. A more lively version of Felix seems to have appeared out of nowhere right next to him. And
Damn,
I love
that was
her
such a dad
so
joke.
much.
Are you someone's dad? You must be.
My favorite side character. I've been told I'm a dad in spirit. Cracking dad jokes, completely adjusting the car's mirrors before moving inside a parking lot, refusing to admit I fall asleep in front of the TV, you name it. Are you someone's dad? Haha, not quite. I'm someone's sister, though. Seems a wry smile to Von Gloomheart and rolls his eyes. Indeed, be my younger sister Daria.
Hi there.
Hi there, Kakarna. Wow, this is new. I think you're the first person Felix has introduced me to in, like, decades. I'm usually the one forcing him to meet my friends. I don't know why I even try, though. He despises them all. I'm highly selective when it comes to companions. I cannot help it. Plus, most of the time, I simply cannot distinguish one of your friends from another, as you seem to spend all days burying your faces inside these little screens of yours. You watch Daria's thumbs as she texts someone at the speed of light. Without stopping, she lifts her eyes up to look at her brother and snorts.
Okay, Villa.
All I'm saying is, it's nice to see you're finally making friends. Or friend. You gotta start somewhere, right? Daria leads her head towards you, revealing a slightly mischievous smile. Speaking of texting, I bet my brother hasn't asked you for your number yet. It's not just technology he needs help with, believe me. Felix looks away bashfully without saying a word. Just give me your phone, you weirdo. He zips up and absentmindedly begins to search for his phone. You're surprised he even has one. When he finally manages to fish it out from inside the ruffles of his fancy outfit, you notice it's the old Nokia 1-0. Of course. No, not that one. The one I got you for your death day. Felix reluctantly takes out a shiny smartphone from one of his mini pockets. You can tell he barely uses it. The look on his face. Pain. Here, Ricardo, let me add your contact info here. And my job is done. I think I need to run to my workshop on the most unethical brands of makeup products.
See you around.
But I'll see you around, yeah? Before you manage to think of a response, Daria disappears as quickly as she showed up in the first place. Wow, you two are very different. I have heard that one before. But that might be the reason why we get along quite well. There's a lot to be learned from each other. Like how to ask newly met hot villains for their phone number. Among other things. You said you picked your name in the 12th century, so how old are you now? Felix starts mumbling under his nose and you realize he's actually counting. About 2,000 years to round it up a little. I cannot keep track anymore. So you have seen it all. Black Death spreading across Europe, white men conquering other people's lands, the witchcraft craze? What was it like? To see the invention of money, the rise of capitalism, to witness all the evil being born in front of your eyes? I would love to answer with some thrilling tales, trust me. But in all honesty, most of the time I was at home, reading, writing poetry, embroidering, if I've been feeling particularly fancy. I do not engage with the outside world so much. Things just keep happening around me. Bro, understandable. Same. You need to go out more. That said, 2,000 years is a long, long time, even with all the stupid things we are up to. I'd probably get bored too. Tell me about it. I think I've tried everything this world has to offer. It is hard to find a new hobby after a while. I can play every instrument there is, competitive dog grooming, collecting navel fluff, adult coloring books, you name it. I've probably tried it. What's your favorite thing to do now? Apart from being evil, making humans miserable, watching them squirm, hearing their pathetic little voices beg for mercy. I've been fairly invested in my flowers lately, hence the little stand here. Did you plant the flowers yourself too?
Oh dear.
Oh dear me, nay. I found gardening to be overrated. Tried it in the 18th century or so. It's far too dirty a hobby for me. Speaking of dirty, you have some ketchup on your name tag. Felix looks down and quickly tries to wipe it off, without much success. He seems visibly embarrassed, but his cheeks don't turn red at all, almost as if there were no blood circulation in his body.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Where was I? Ah, yes. I simply do not have the patience for gardening, and I'm not interested in flowers while they are growing and blooming. As with many things, they are much more fascinating when they are dead. I'm going to pretend I don't find this sentiment even a little bit disturbing. Can you die? You said you've been around for centuries. Felix smiles a sad smile. What did you expect? You literally asked him about his own immortality. You are not one for small talk, are you? Felix sighs. I am undead. You could say I have died once, therefore fulfilling my death quota forever. So you'll be around for eternity. Why do you ask? I've found that people are not usually too keen on discussing death. Well, it's a bit different when you're professionally involved with evilness. So much of your life is about death. You kind of find yourself thinking about it all the time. That makes two of us, then. What a thing to bond over. He smiles a little less sadly this time. Would you prefer to be immortal? Hell yeah, infinite time to do all the horrible deeds you can imagine? I take that in a heartbeat. That is, my last heartbeat before I turn undead. I thought so too once. Wait, are you trying to tell me you don't like it? What's there to complain about? It's such a special thing. There's only a handful of you. Precisely. Deep within your mind, the penny finally drops. Oh.
It can be quite lonely.
As you can imagine, it can be quite lonely. Everything and everyone goes away eventually, except you. I haven't really thought about like that. It's been years and I'm not even close to being at peace with losing my dog. Take that feeling and multiply it by eternity. I'm too bad at maths for that, but it does sound lonely. You're dead right. I'm sorry, pun not intended. And we're supposed to network here. Talk about jobs and work and business opportunities and all the other stuff that's designed to keep you away from thinking about the meaninglessness of life. Ha 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 ha. Well, this is awkward. So, what's the deal with your ex? I have not seen him in, well, a few dozen years at least. We certainly did not make any deals, though. He was not the type for business transactions. No, I mean, what's the story? Give me all the dirt. You notice faint confusion on Felix's face. He quickly glances at the bag of potting soil behind him and finally understands what you're asking about. My ex, let's call him Arthur. Because that is his name. His priorities were not very much in line with mine. He was a goody-goody, which did not match my evil attitude too well. Wait, so you're trying to tell me you were the bad boy in this equation?
Precisely.
Felix holds eye contact with you for a solid 3 seconds. You suddenly find yourself interested in finding out how bad of a boy he is. That is because you're generally interested in the various degrees of evil. It's research, of course. Okay, so you were the bad boy, and Arthur? Arthur had always felt guilty about drinking human blood, ever since he got turned into a vampire. You would think there were more important things to be concerned about, like the prospect of watching everyone you ever grow to love die throughout eternity and having to withstand it all without garlic bread. But he just felt bad, I suppose. I don't actually like garlic bread. I'm a big bread fan, and I don't like garlic in its powdery form. Like in a jar or fresh, it's fine, but it's gross that way. I don't like it. Anyways, eternity without garlic bread sounds like hell. Not to me. A deal. I miss pizza though. Why would you say so? Hell is quite great. All the remotely interesting souls are there. Satan is a sweetheart too. Maybe you will stumble upon him here. It's just an expression. Well, I'm certain they have garlic bread in hell. They throw the best parties. It is very festive down there. I'll let you know next time I'm headed there. Fine, are we gonna do something bad? Well, yes, for sure. It is hell after all. We are two of the finest villains in this universe. Would you not happen to experience any stings of remorse after some good old eviling around, would you? No, you could even say, hell no. Felix chuckles. You did it. You made him laugh. You can't help but notice his smile is adorable. You're wondering whose fangs stick out of his mouth like a cat sometimes. Aww. Then it's splendid. We may, as you say, hang out then. Felix sighs again. He seems pretty hung up on something. You know what they say, time heals all wounds. You'll get over him, I'm sure. Especially since you have eternity ahead of you. I appreciate the sentiment, Kakarna. But that is what troubles me. Eternity gives you many opportunities. I have no doubts about that. And one of them is getting your heart shattered into pieces over and over. Man, you really need a rebound. Did you and Arthur date for a long time? Let me think. We met in 1069. Okay, you can speed it up a little. A few centuries at least. Alright. We had been romantically involved for a while. Moved in together into a nice abandoned castle even. Very classy. Everything seemed glorious, except when we had to drink blood, which is quite unavoidable once you become a vampire, I should say. But he felt guilty? Oh, you cannot comprehend the extent to which he would weep about these damned human souls. First, he suggested we stop creating elaborate labyrinth traps for our prey in our castle. Which was admittedly slightly over the top, I assure you, a merry way to spend a fragment of your eternity. I believe you. The thing I can't imagine is how someone can refuse that. Exactly. Arthur said it was inhumane, as if that was not the point of it the entire time. He chose to find more, ethical ways of killing people, like sucking blood out of people who were already dying, or those who wanted to die. Sounds boring. It was. I am all about consent, believe me, But consensual murder is not exactly my job. We two lived like that for a while. Yes, that was the compromise I was willing to make. I was deeply infatuated with Arthur, you have to understand. But the day he announced switched to only hunting for farm animals, I decided to put a stop to this madness. Sounds a lot like how they got away with Twilight. Felix visibly shudders. Not even get me started about that. I need to get going. Farewell. Okay. I could try to do lunch. Oh! Welcome to the Villain Conference. This is the official VCon messaging account. We'll send you helpful tips during the event. Enjoy! Tip number 1. Explore different locations and start talking to people. Once you find out what their contact details are, they may send you messages. So should we do lunch? Let's do lunch. It's lunchtime. Ow. Now what do you eat with? You have lunch at the cafe. The solitude is very peaceful. Tip number 2. Lunch is being served at the cafe. You might be able to find someone familiar to eat with. I didn't! Greetings. Okay, he still doesn't have anything to say. Let's go to conference. Talk about villainous fashion is about to start. You see the sophisticated older lady from earlier sitting in one of the chairs. The seats next to her are suspiciously empty. Hi, I'm the Crimson Vindicator, and I'm a certified fashion mancer in addition to my career as a supervillain. Just like in job interviews, your first impression is extremely important. Beautiful, formidable, and fashionable villains are more memorable than plain ones. You don't want to be mistaken for a henchman or a minion, do you? But don't worry, how your face or body looks is not important. As a villain, you have a wide range of styles to choose from, including helmets, masks, bodysuits, robes, and so on. There's something for everyone, and that's the beauty of villainous fashion. Speaker gives you lots of great tips, like never wear socks or sandals unless your plan is to wreak havoc at a fashionista gathering. Come back after the break to learn more about colors and villainous fashion. You wonder if you should return for part 2. Tip number 3. If you run out of topics to talk with someone, you might want to check back later. They might have something new to say. Meanwhile, why not talk to someone else or see a lecture or two in the blue conference room? It's a great way to pass time and learn something new. I just want to see if he's back.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. We'll go to part 2 then. Talk about villainous fashion is about to continue. You see the sophisticated older lady from earlier sitting in one of the chairs. The seats next to her are suspiciously empty. Hi, I'm the Crimson Vindicator, and I'm a certified fashion mancer. Before the break, we discuss different styles of clothing. Next, we'll dive into the importance of colors. Most villains favor dark shades like black, but don't be afraid to try something a bit more colorful. Green, red, and purple work wonderfully as accent colors. Just don't mix a bunch of colors unless you're going for the creepy clown aesthetic. Stick to 1 or 2. White can be surprisingly effective, even though it's often associated with the good guys. Especially an all-white suit, robe, or gown can work wonderfully. Blood stands out especially well in white, which can induce fear. Alternatively, you can have your henchman make sure no dirt or blood ever touches you, signaling that you are untouchable as a villain. The Crimson Vindicator has a lot of fashion-related wisdom to offer. You feel inspired to go shopping, but it'll have to wait until the conference is over.
Greeting.
Oh, still nothing to talk about with him. Fine. I don't see anybody.
Excuse me, but have you seen my mother?
She should be attending this conference. What's your mother's name? Imperia Messard? Oh, I should introduce myself. I'm Rose Messard. You're not a villain, are you? Of course not, silly. I'm a princess.
I'm
As I
Rose
mentioned,
Lazar, Crown Princess of Lusitania.
So your mother is the queen, or your highness? Oh, no need to be so formal. You're my mother's work associate, so you can address me casually. But yes, mother is the queen. Ever since father passed away, it's just been me and mother. She's not my birth mother, but when father died, I was too young to rule, so she inherited the crown.
Excuse me?
Excuse me, miss, but if you don't have a badge, I must ask you to leave.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's too bad. Could you tell my mother I came by if you see her?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Kukarna. Goodbye, Kukarna. Good luck with your quest to eradicate villainy. It's very noble.
What does she think we do here?
To be honest, I find her remark insulting towards our attendees.
Oh.
But she is a princess. How about now? There's still not anything to talk about. Another conference? Talk about common mistakes in a villain's job is about to start. As a villain, there are many things that can go wrong. It's a very dangerous yet rewarding career path. However, there are things you can do to minimize the risks, allowing you to focus on your evil plans. Goliath the Sorcerer gave a great speech about safety during monologue, so I won't be covering that today. Small addition though, the same advice that he gave applies to a situation where a hero asks you to explain your plan to them or asks for a final request. Safety first. Never accept a duel with a hero. It may seem like a great chance to show off your power, but the risks are simply too high. A great alternative is to pretend that you're going to pretend to accept the duel, and when the hero is exposed, have a sniper kill them from a distance. Peculiar but possibly life-saving advice is to have your minions play team-based shooter video games in their free time. This way they will learn that it's always a bad idea to trickle into the fight one by one instead of attacking all at once. An added benefit is that they will lose faith in humanity due to the toxic behavior of the other players, and be less likely to turn on you and ruin your plans. You make note of everything the speaker tells you to avoid doing, and the ways they suggest life-threatening risks to be mitigated. It's a long list. Tip number 4. The convention area is closing in 1 hour. Have fun at the party and see you tomorrow. How about now?
Hello.
Nope. Okay, we'll do one more we'll go to one more thing. And yeah. Talk about foolproof plans is about to start. You see a cute robot sitting in one of the chairs. Let me start with a controversial opinion. No plan is truly foolproof. No matter how well you prepare, there can always be unexpected factors, like an orphan child who gains mysterious powers, a technical error that a hacker can exploit, or a treacherous underling. That's why you should never have just one plan. You have 3. First of all, a fake plan. For example, a true classic is schematics that look real but are fake, and are placed in a way that allows your adversaries to easily steal them. Bonus points if those schematics are for a machine that would blow up when started, getting rid of your enemy's best engineers. Second, your real plan. You have access to computers in your reality. This one should be encrypted, hidden, and named something like Trip to Italy 2009. Never named your plan the Doomsday Machine schematics or plan to take over the world. Third, your backup plan. This should ideally be hidden as well as, or better, than your real plan. If your real plan fails despite your best efforts, you'll have a backup plan that minimizes damage to your person and your assets. Remember, you can always try again even if your first plan fails, but if you're dead, all you'll be doing is roasting in hell. You don't really feel like getting roasted, so you write down, always have 3 plans in your notes. The convention center is about to close for the day, but the night is young. Time to head to the nightclub. We're hanging out with Felix. You arrive at the conference nightclub, hoping to spot some familiar faces in the dancing crowd. A swarm of sweaty limbs, tentacles, horns, and other villainous body parts quickly pull you in, and you find yourself bobbing your head to a compilation, I can't talk today, I'm so sorry, of Smurfs hits from the 90s. What other music did you expect from an evil nightclub? You look up and notice an outline of Felix's silhouette on the balcony above the dance floor. He looks even more majestic than usual, the stroboscope light hitting his back, making it look like the intro to a high-budget, unholywood horror movie. You can't see his face, but you imagine it's painted with a slight look of judgmental disapproval. He notices when you climb up the stairs to join him on the balcony. The DJ switched it up a little. Instead of Smurfs hits, you are now listening to elevator music. Never heard elevator music this loud before. If you want Felix to hear you, you have to lean in quite close. You notice he smells like a combination of a dusty used bookstore and a melted cemetery candle. I see you're not a big fan of dancing.
Oh,
I used to enjoy it quite a lot. My biggest dance phase was during the ragtime era in Europe. Oh, how I miss those. Foxtrot, Maxis, One Step. I probably mispronounced. Those were real dances, not... He gestures vaguely in the unaware crowd's direction. This. You like dancing like this? Ew, I hate it. It looks silly and feels even worse. The only type of dancing I enjoy is dancing on the graves of my enemies. Perhaps they should redesign the dance floor to look like a cemetery. In that case, I might reconsider. Spend a somewhat somber yet enjoyable evening with Felix until you've reached the limits of your mortal body, and you have to go get some sleep. So that's the end of day 1. It's time for day 2, baby! The morning of the second day. The reception hall seems to be empty. Everyone must be enjoying the conference instead of hanging out in the lobby. Let's go hang out with Felix. Good day. Or maybe evil day would be more appropriate. Evil day to you too. Did you get any rest? Surprisingly enough, I passed out immediately after the party. I must admit, I was impressed by your ability to stay up so late despite being immortal. Yeah, maybe that's why I feel so dead now. Do you miss sleeping? I miss dreaming. Oh, how I wish I still had the chance of embarking on an extraordinary journey every single night. You realize you could do that every night since you're, awake anyway? Without leaving my bed. Fair enough, you gotta make your adventures happen in reality now. As far as extraordinary journeys go, most of the time I dream about running late for a tram or scrolling through Facebook. Honestly, you're not missing out much, except maybe afternoon naps after a long day of villainy. Those are the best. Oh, I still take pretend naps during particularly stressful days. Old habits die hard. Or shall I say, they never die if you are immortal. Arthur and I had a custom-made double coffin in our bedroom designed specifically for that, among other things. I use the big spoon or a little spoon. Provided neither of the spoons is silver, I do not have a strong preference. That's exactly what a little spoon would say. Not that you have some hidden agenda, and you certainly don't find yourself imagining how comfortable sleeping in a coffin might be. No. I just want to become a vampire. Felix looks at you with a slight smile. You considering changing careers? I never really thought about it before, but why not? You're not sure why, but you can see his eyes light up even more. There are some work benefits that come with being a vampire. You're trying to recruit some new blood? Wink. Quite funny, but I am not. The only time I change someone into a vampire is by pure accident. It is just that sometimes I find myself wishing everyone I enjoy conversing with would turn out to be immortal. I think you'd get bored with them eventually. Perhaps. But oh, how relieving it would be to have some stability in the face of the ever-changing eternity. I've grown quite weary of things ending, and everything ends eventually. Does it not dismay you at all, Kukarna? It does, yeah. But the good thing about it is, everything ends. Also bad things. Imagine fashion trends lasted forever and fluffy boots were still a thing. Interesting perspective. Perhaps you would excel at being a vampire after all. Okay, but what about you? How did you become one?
Oh.
It is really not that exciting of a story. Oh, come on. Did you get cursed by a badass village witch? Got bitten by another vampire in an epic battle? What was it? I'm afraid you've read too much fantasy. The reality is far less fantastic. You stare at Felix with anticipation until he finally breaks. Fine, I died of tuberculosis, and then an old flea-ridden black cat jumped over my corpse under the full moon. Wait, is that all it takes to become a vampire? Not anymore. It was a tad easier back then. The procedures have become more complicated in the past few centuries. Most of the juniors we recruit have, indeed, been bitten by someone from upper management. Not your conventional office dynamics, but who am I to judge your work ethics? Felix yawned. You should probably step up your game. My sincere apologies. This is not about you. You would imagine that the second one becomes a vampire, one's body ceases to respond to tiredness in such humanly ways, but alas, you can't help but yawn in response. Sorry to be so disgustingly human in your presence. I guess at least now you can be sure I'm not a merciless psychopath. Given we are at a villain convention, it is interesting if you to assume that I would have been bothered by that. Well, what do you mean? I read somewhere that contagious yawning indicates empathy. It makes me feel a bit better about myself every time I catch someone's yawn. Empathy? Oh, Karna, please. You forgot empathy was a touchy subject for this one. Don't worry, I am not in a hurry to run for president at some humanitarian aid organization right this instant. Thanks to your infallible empathy skills, you notice a look of relief on Felix's face. Speaking of this instance, since my stand does not seem particularly busy right now, I decided you wish to threaten with my exceptional floral arrangement technique. You're not sure whether you're being extremely indecisive or just don't want to run out of excuses swinged by Felix. I have a strong candidate. Would you like to tell me about them? I thought you never ask. I had this history teacher in high school. You shudder and fall down the rabbit hole of flashbacks from your high school years. Felix's calm voice brings you back to reality. I did not particularly enjoy being a teenager myself, but whenever I listen to stories recounting the experience of being a teenager in, say, the past 2 centuries, I get a momentary flood of joy upon realizing what I have missed. You're lucky. The only good thing about going through that amount of evil is the amount of evil inspiration you provided me with. Anyway, the history teacher. His skewed view on our world's history aside, I know this might sound petty, but the way he made the chalk screech in the blackboard, the strong cologne smell you'd spread across the whole school, his goatee. The goatee is self-explanatory. Not to invalidate your feelings, but are those all of his faults? Oh, and he made me repeat a grade. Twice. Duly noted. Well then, I will start thinking about the flowers he deserves. Yellow carnation, maybe. I'm trying to remember what a yellow carnation means. That symbolizes disdain, right? Felix looks impressed. Indeed. You're a fast learner, or maybe you're just a very good teacher. Last time I picked the school bully, and he was more into that, so I will remember that for next time I play. Felix is distracted by tending to his flowers, giving him the perfect opportunity to check him out head to toe. You notice how his refined, old-fashioned outfit envelops his body, delicately, yet not hiding the toned muscles or shapely curves beneath. Perfect tailoring. I like your outfit. Thank you, I am flattered. Is your wardrobe just a collection of identical vintage costumes? That is not too far from the truth, I must admit. Seems like it would raise suspicion about your vampire lifestyle, though. Being a vampire is not a lifestyle choice, it is who I am. Fair enough, but it is your choice to wear those gorgeous, extravagant suits. Wouldn't it make your job easier if you sported some more casual attire? I can picture you wearing ripped jeans with some band t-shirt. You receive a look of sheer disapproval. Do not! Outrageous! I will not sacrifice my aesthetic for safety. The sole type of sacrifice I gladly indulge in is one that involves a mortal soul. I shall add that it has actually gotten a tad easier over the years to hide my identity. You give Felix a surprised look. The rise of goth clubs. Oh, so you're secretly a party animal? Who would have thought? I have to confess, my usual way of withstanding parties is sitting in the bathroom and reading a book in the light of a portable electric candle. But they are outstanding locations for a late-night vampire escapade. The dim light makes it convenient to hide what needs to remain secret. The alcohol and other substances pumping through the veins of the dancing bodies makes them delightfully more unaware. And compared to most of the subculture enthusiasts, my outfit seems quite mellow there. Nobody looks at me suspiciously. I can see that. Although I don't think I've ever been to a golf club myself. Is that so? I shall make you my companion sometime in the future. A post-conference night out. Did he just ask you out? Yes, I'd love to see you in action. Maybe you can even help me with a hunt or two. Felix smiles shyly and fidgets with the dead leaf. You better start planning your goth outfit, and so I shall. So about your ex. Felix looks around confused. What about Arthur? Is he somewhere around? How would I know? I've never met him. How did you all even meet each other? Is there a special Tinder app for dating vampires? Oh, Arthur was a full-blooded human when we met. Our affair started long before he became a vampire. Before I turned him into one, to be more precise. Oh, you turned him? It's so romantic. Talk about grand gesture. The most romantic thing anyone's ever done for me was when my ex scribbled our names in the school's bathroom and misspelled mine twice. Oh, I beg your pardon. It was simply a very passionate accident. Are you saying that you can casually turn someone into a vampire just like that without giving it much thought? All it takes is a bite, and there are situations in which you might want to bite someone with rather different intention. Felix smirks shyly, and you catch his eyes wandering around your neck. Damn, that must have killed the mood. But at least it didn't kill your lover. In a way, it did. His life was entirely different from that one went on. Sometimes I wonder if he would have been happier as a mere mortal. The life of an average mortal doesn't strike me as the happiest thing ever. That is true. Perhaps it was the villain part that bothered Arthur more than his immortality. He seems to be enjoying his expanded lifestyle quite a lot. But you could get some inspiration from whatever he's doing with his eternity to make yours less boring.
Oh dear.
Absolutely not. He's dedicating his eternity to making the world a better place for humans. He even had the audacity to try to convince me to join a human rights protest once. You could dedicate your eternity to making the world a worse place for humans then. Be the change you want to see in the world, or whatever it is they say. I do try my best. Or worst. Hey, want to go on an adventure? I have a job to do, and enemies are threatened with some flowers. I am also quite intrigued. Please continue. I've been thinking, they talk so much about the little joys in life, but what about the little evils? Felix leans toward you with excitement. You're almost certain you saw his ears move forward a little, like a bat. It's precious. Keep going. We could come up with something small, darken up someone's day just a tiny bit. You wouldn't even need to leave your flower stand. Sounds like a dream. Although I have to ask you to be more specific, I need to evaluate your plan first before making any decisions. Of course, so tell me, what do you usually do with the slightly tired-looking flowers that didn't make it to one of your threatening bouquets? I was under the impression that we were going to unfold visions of epic adventures now, and not discuss trash. Whatever floats your boat. I throw the withered flowers away. My heart aches, of course. But I suppose that is yet another death I have to learn to cope with. Okay, but bear with me. Where do you throw them? Into a bin? Yes, the bio-waste one, I assume. Your assumptions are correct. Imagine, what if we threw your entire day's worth of bio-trash into the wrong bin? Felix looks at you in awe. His eyes widen. You can tell you managed to impress him with your evil scheme. Well done. How has this thought never gone through my head? You are truly a criminal mastermind. What could be our evil alternative bin? Your adventure plan was not this detailed, as if you had a plan in the first place. You don't want to disappoint your new partner in crime, though, so you quickly come up with... You liked this last time. I think we should go for cardboard. Oh, I know what you are aiming at. Not only do we get to acquire some evil karma points, but we get to create an artistic commentary. The dead flowers rotting away on what was once a firm and sturdy cardboard that turned soggy and unusable. To portray the destructive power of love and death? Yes. Exactly that. That is exactly what I had in mind. It was truly brilliant. I admire your creativity. The conference crowd is still fairly small, so I suggest we embark on our adventure right away. A small break from standing by my booth should not cause any trouble with the floral threats department. It's the first time we've seen Felix get visibly excited about something. It almost feels as if life has entered his undead body. We spend his break hanging out in the back of the conference building, like the cool kids in high school who hid in a nearby parking lot to smoke during recess. Sometimes while the two of you joyfully toss the biotrash in the wrong bin, your hands meet for brief seconds, sending shivers down your spine. Almost as if you were protagonists in a trashy romance novel. Okay, so I guess we maybe have two more things to talk about. I realize you've been talking to Felix more than the other conference attendees. Could it be because he never tries to make boring small talk about the weather? Especially while you're in a dimension outside of space and time where there isn't any weather. I have to admit, it's been fun to chat with you. Fun? It is certainly not the adjective I hear most often when others describe me. You seem to have a penchant for heavy topics. I like it. It's refreshing. Big conferences and crowds stress me out for many reasons. Nobody needs some excruciating small talk on top of that. I bet there's a special place in heaven filled with a bunch of nice, ostensibly polite people prepared to talk me the price of gas and their new lasagna recipes. Oh, what a delight to hear someone express such a sentiment. I've been pondering about the same. In fact, I must confess, I had looked up some small talk examples before arriving here, but never dared to try them on anyone. You looked up how to small talk? That's adorable. Felix looks you dead in the eye in a truly undone fashion. You worried you came off too strong.
Indeed.
Indeed, my sister told me to ask Uncle Boogle when in doubt. I was a tad confused at first, as I did not remember a relative with such a peculiar name. Uncle Corneliu, for sure. Uncle Dragomir, of course, but Boogle. It is certainly easy to forget about people when they come and go so fast, all like you're living through eternity. But I surely would have remembered Uncle Boogle. He resists the temptation to call Felix adorable again. I'm pretty sure I saw a talk about how to use technology for evil, but we might have already missed it. Worry not, that is quite alright. I would have misunderstood half the terms they use. That is, unless you whispered their meanings to my ear. And he claimed he was bad at flirting. How do you feel about vampires being such a popular topic in fiction? There's so many books and movies about your kind. Video games even. They were all a disgrace, and the reason why I had to start avoiding libraries. Felix flinches with disgust. All these stories are written by non-vampires. Would you believe? Nobody even consults us in the subtleties of vampire culture. I have yet to see myself represented on the big screen. Have you tried writing something of your own then? An unfathomable number of times. Did you ever get published? Huh, never. I could probably publish the vast collection of rejection letters I have received over the centuries, though. The plot lines are not believable, or the characters are full of overused cliches, or my favorite, the main narrative could use some more drama. As if they knew my life better. I don't know how comforting it is, but I know the feeling. Our stories are always so one-dimensional. Happy villains aren't easily marketable, I guess. Precisely. You will understand my sorrow. I long to read a novel about a vampire's mundane life. No epic battles or castle mansions, as if we were able to afford those anyway. Are you trying to tell me that after the conference ends, you won't be going back home to a spooky castle up a hill somewhere far away from the city? Felix slowly raises one of his eyebrows. You see? That is precisely why we need something better than these bloody romance novels for confused mortal teenagers. I live in a studio apartment next to a 24/7 convenience store. Someone should write a novel about that. The novel you wrote, what was it about? Oh, I'm too embarrassed to share the details of that failure now. It was my first try at a longer format, and a rather miserable one. It can't be that bad. In high school, I wrote a laundry-themed, angsty poetry collection under the pseudonym Richard Detergent III. You can trust me. I suppose I can now. The novel starts with a vampire who grows exhausted of having to turn into a bat each time he needs to travel longer distances. Reasonable. Bats have such small wings, it seems like a lot of flapping around.
Precisely.
Precisely. Not too easy to keep that a secret either. I've lost count of the times I made the mistake of absent-mindedly landing on a rooftop in my bat form, turning back into my casual attire, and then having to go through the trouble of explaining why on earth I'm suddenly stuck on top of a grocery store, and how I even appeared there in the first place. I wouldn't mind if you randomly showed up on my rooftop sometime. Did you really just say that? Anyway. What does the vampire do next? He finds a rusty bike somewhere and decides to learn how to cycle. Upon visiting a bicycle repair shop, he falls in love with a hefty, indecently attractive worker with fleshy, oil-smeared hands, who also has a great personality, of course. I would not objectify a character like that. Something tells me this novel was heavily inspired by your life. Perhaps, to some extent. I guess I should have asked whether you can ride a bike. I cannot. Coincidentally enough, the main character fails to master that skill as well. He constantly sabotages himself and his bicycle to create new excuses to visit the repair shop and bump into the strikingly good-looking, irresistible, muscular worker. With a great personality. Indeed. Is it a romance novel? I suppose so, although it lacks the actual romance part. Oh, so the mysterious vampire character, who's totally not at all inspired by you, doesn't ever get to enjoy the ripped dude's impressive personality? No. Also, I never told you what the person's gender was. It was a woman. I would not have suspected you of such stereotypical assumptions. Oh, sorry, my bad. So what happens next? The vampire essentially destroys his bike more and more to get to hang out in a musty repair shop with an unaware cutie, until he loses track of his own damage. The repair worker grows suspicious of the persistently imperfect bike and takes it for a test ride, and that is when the vampire remembers he'd also tinkered with the brakes, which she's already strolling down the street without her helmet on. Is that part also based on your life, or just a product of your vivid imagination? Oh, Kakarna, the real-life event was far more tragic than that. After I exhausted all my excuses to see her, I simply asked if she would one day want to spend some time in my company. Do something casual together, say go coffin shopping, rob a blood bank, stroll around a pet cemetery, read Victorian poetry out loud to each other, nothing too fancy. But she said no. That's it? That's the more tragic event? At least for my dignity. Well, that's not what I expect from your usual romance novel. You sure have one hell of a gloomy heart. Felix shrugs with a pensive smile. Sometimes I feel like vampires simply do not get happy endings. I guess the only way to find out is to keep playing this game. Oh. The game of life, of course. I need to get going. Farewell. I can help out with his bouquets a little bit more and we'll see. Oh, he texted me. Would you happen to have other ideas for spreading evil will and misery? Bruise all the fruit. We could go to the supermarket and bruise all the fruit. Interesting idea and very feasible. When shall we go? Do you have any embarrassing stories of being turned down? Sure I have. There was this brutal one. Tried to sit with my crush at school lunch, and they told me they would rather eat old boots than have anything to do with me. Everyone laughed. Ouch. Yeah, it took me a good while to get over it. I still send them dirty shoes on their birthday. Oh, we missed lunch. We could play another round of the bouquet game with him. You would like to assist me with the bouquets? Marvelous. We'll play another round of the bouquet game with him. I should get it some bonding points. Maybe we'll do that every day.
And the next bouquet.
100 years.
Very good.
Even though this bouquet is not perfect, it fits her request very well. Great work.
And the next bouquet.
Worker recovering from an injury. Okay. Let's see, yellow rose. Let's do pink lily for wealth and prosperity. That's the closest to get well soon as I can find. I don't know if the wolfsbane really works, but
Good work.
mostly had the right idea, but there are some flowers that don't quite fit the request. In any case, good work. I say it's probably the damn wolfsbane.
And the next bouquet.
Okay. Purple tulip. Get me on there. I don't know if that works.
Very good.
Not perfect. Fits request very well. Excellent. Sir, I just wanted to use this time to bond with you. That's all.
And the next bouquet.
Okay, for a traitor's friend. Let's see. Wolfsbane. Fuck. I meant to put the... Oh my god, it's gonna scream at me the whole way.
Good work.
Was that the right idea? Okay. I simply wish to bond with him. Thanks for my help. Let's leave. Okay. Let me go to the soundtrack one. Okay, we have time to do one more, I think, and then I will take my leave. Talk about developing maniacal laughter is about to continue. Before the break, we went through some different laughter types. Now let's dive deeper into choosing laughter that suits your villainous persona. Low pitches tend to be associated with masculinity, authority, and deliberateness, whereas high pitches are viewed as hysterical, chaotic, and feminine. You should keep in mind that if your naturally high-pitched voice doesn't quite fit your target image of an authoritarian leader, you could look into options, medical or magical, to change it. Flipping the audience's expectations on their head is also very powerful. It runs the risk of making you appear comical rather than intimidating. Be deliberate in the choices you make. Other important considerations are frequency, length, and volume. You jot down a few notes on features the speaker alleges would fit the villainous persona you were going for. You'll be sure to give your cackle some practice before bed tonight. Okay, so he's not there right now.
Excuse me?
Ah, Kakarna, I was hoping to have a word. I'm afraid I have a bone to pick with you. As you know, at the conference, we hold all attendees to a very high standard for wickedness. And well, we always like to see our guests using social media to promote the conference. And I know it's your first time at the conference, but I think you need to seriously reconsider how you're representing our brand and yours. Huh? Do you need me to refresh your memory? Look at these photos you've tagged with the conference on Instagram and see if you can tell me what's wrong. Skeleton shows you his tablet and uses his bony finger to flip through some photos. In one, someone who looks exactly like you is helping a gaggle of ducklings cross a busy street. In another, they're reading a book to a group of smiling little patients in children's hospital. In another shows them wearing the t-shirt of the Righteous Society of Superheroes and holding a donation check to a homelessness charity. Shall I go on? Need I remind you that you agreed to our terms upon interest in the conference? I hereby assure I'm evil, and I vow to cause inconvenience and suffering upon those that are good. You're new, so I can overlook it this time, but please, if you'd like to be invited back next year, be more mindful about the abominable reputation we'll work very hard to uphold. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to speak with our anti-social media department about getting this cleared up. What's that about? You definitely haven't held ducks across the street donated to charities lately. Not to mention posted about it on social media.
Oh, look who decided to turn up.
Not like I've been waiting for this moment my whole life or anything. Nice to finally meet me. I enjoyed my little prank. Heh. Did you see the look on his skull? You rub your eyes. You feel like you're looking in a mirror. Very funny. This must become some kind of practical joke. That's what I am to you, huh? Some kind of joke?
You're
You're a clone,
isn't it
genius.
obvious?
I have a clone? A clone? You have hundreds. I'm just kidding. It's only me. I think. Your clone leans forward to fix your hair a bit. There. That's better. Anyway, I'm an wreck. Fine. There are a lot of interesting people to talk to at this conference. I can talk to myself whenever I want. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. We are going to save. And I need to get off of here for now. I might record a little bit more later today or maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But for now, hope you're enjoying the game so far. Maybe you enjoy my commentary of the game. I don't know. Anyway. anyways, if you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next video. Bye!